We are going to explore textures and then turn our papers into art in a creative experience called texture rubbings. You will need crayons, scissors, and some recycled materials, like the ones you see here. You may also need some tape or glue, but if you don't have those things, there are other ways that you can still make texture plates. For texture rubbings, you can either find some existing textures or you can make them. Like this bubble wrap is an existing texture. When I rub my hand over it, I can feel how bumpy it is. I'm going to put that over to the side. The first texture that I'm going to make is just a piece of cardboard, but I'm going to take one layer off. Got my nail through those. I'm going to leave it at that. If I feel like I need to tear off more later, I can. So there's one texture block done, and it's going with my bubble wrap. This texture I'm going to make with an old piece of aluminum foil. Now, my aluminum foil was not used for food. It is just a small piece. If you are grabbing a new piece, please ask somebody in your house, make sure it's okay. But aluminum foil is flexible, and I've crushed mine up a bit. Well, I mean, I've really crushed mine up a lot. I'm gonna put a cardboard behind it and kind of wrap this aluminum around so that I get a really nice bumpy texture that I can feel. That's my third texture plate. I am going to make a texture plate with some paper on cardboard, and I am going to give you some hints on cutting cardboard. It is always helpful to have your hand away from the scissors and that we don't cut towards ourselves. You want to make sure that you are cutting away. And I'm just cutting rectangles. Now I'm using kid scissors, and that can be hard to cut through really thick cardboard. So this could be something that you might need to ask a parent to help with if you are having trouble doing it yourself. But do you see how I cut in and then up to get this square? That really helps. I'm gonna now cut some of this paper bag off, and I'm gonna crush it up. I am just using a piece of tape. This is not meant to be pretty. It is meant to be an experiment. So we are not making art yet. We're making tools to make art. Okay? So that's enough to hold that down. Now I've got a soft texture with this paper. And I am going to create a fourth texture using some cut paper. And for this one, I'm going to go So now I'm going to make a stripe effect on here, and I do need some way to attach it. Tape might not be the easiest for this. If you have liquid glue, you want to make sure you're doing dot, dot, not a lot. This tiny piece of paper does not need a lot of glue to stick to this side. Heads up, if I was trying to glue to this side, the paper might slip off because this has a slippery wax coating to help protect the packaging. So you need to be on the inside of it. If you don't have liquid glue, great, because glue sticks work better. I'm going to just cover this. Again, making this is not making the art. We are making tools to make art. And now that I have some different textures, some that are found and some that I made, I can start checking out what they look like. I'm gonna grab just some regular thin printer paper. If you don't have this, you can use a lot of different papers. And since I'm just testing them out, I'm gonna just create a large area. So I place the texture down, I've put the paper on top, and now I'm gonna grab a crayon and I'm going to start rubbing on top of it just to see what happens. And for this one, I thought the dots would show up, and I guess they are a little, but not too much. So it's okay if a texture doesn't work. I'm gonna now try this texture. And I'm gonna keep this one for now in the same color. I'm holding my hand on the paper. Ooh. Where are those lines coming from? So what's happening is the paper, as it's being pressed against this texture, the crayon is bumping the sides of the texture where it makes it darker. So here is my bubble wrap. Here's my cardboard. I could also turn my cardboard and make some stripes that are going up and down. It also makes kind of a cool sound. I'm gonna switch my color and go to a new texture. Let's try out the foil. Oh. So the foil created a couple of spots where the color got darker. Huh. It's a little bit like the bubble wrap in that it didn't show up the most, but I've now tested 3, and let's see if this one is any different. This is my paper covered cardboard. I'm gonna try it with this. Oh, I can see some of the cardboard underneath coming through. Similar to this, so maybe if you want some of these lines, you don't even have to rip this off. Although I do think these lines are darker because I did rip it off. And this paper texture doesn't show up too much, turns out. But that's okay, that's part of experimenting. I am going to try this now. I can still see that it's a little bit sticky, but I think I'll be all right. And I'm gonna place this down. And remember, this was just paper. So I could cut any shape that I wanted to. And make that rubbing. That's pretty cool. I could even, oh no! All the more reason I should have let it dry. It did stick to my paper. I'm gonna grab the one that is dry that I've done. And what if I layer these? I'm gonna put this on top over here. Let's grab another crayon. Ooh! And I'm gonna change the pressure. So you can go light or dark. So I could make, I think out of all of these experiments, the ones that we made that worked the best were the ones with cut paper. So I'm gonna try making one that is a couple of fun shapes as textures and glue them down. why I should let it dry more. So, what can I do now? Well, with these, I can now take this paper that I've made and I can start creating with the textures. And I can build something. Like, I'm gonna build a little collage. I'm gonna put it on this blue paper. So if this was my art that I was making, I might try cutting some shapes out of my texture paper. And I can arrange them to make some new art. I made a little fish and I folded him over, and if I wanted to, here's how I made him. I'll make a goldfish. I folded the paper over so that I have orange on both sides, and I'm gonna cut where his fin is gonna be, and I'll shape it around and cut where another fin is gonna be. So if I opened it up, it's almost like I have two fish. Now I've got orange on both sides, and with a little bit of tape, sticky donut style, I can use a popsicle stick, and now I've got a little puppet. Or you can make things that out of the paper. So this is a tinfoil texture. You can also draw on these some more, or you can use them in a drawing. So with this one, I had some texture from the cardboard behind it, and what this might look like, collage to the side, if you were to create a drawing like, I'm going to draw a turtle. I give myself the turtle shell. Give myself the turtle head. Give my turtle leg. Turtle tail. And if I wanted to add the texture, I could take one of, I'm gonna go with this one. I could take one of these and put it behind. I'll feel where it is, and then I can start adding my color. Pretty cool, huh? So once you've made your texture plates, you can use them again and again and again and again, or you can find some of your own.